Okay, welcome back to number 20 of the 48 Ways to Wisdom, Rav Noach Weinberg Sefer. We are looking at Miy'ut, Sichah, the art of conversation. Now, we live in a time where there's something called texting, emailing, SMSing, texting, all different kinds of ways to communicate with people. And while it's become easier to communicate with people through all these different vehicles, it's also made us often lose our ability to have a normal conversation face to face because we're so used to just, not seeing the person in front of us and just send a quick message while you're walking the dog or something, to give an example, not that I have a dog or anything, but, pushing my kid in the stroller and, send a quick message to a friend, whatever. We're in a world now where there's, it's a lot about quick messages and not really about, sitting and getting to know a person, having good conversation. So we need to master the skill. That's why this chapter is called The Art of Conversation. And we need to have this, especially with our families, when we sit down at the table, especially for Shabbat and the Chagim, but really all the time, talking to our children, our spouses, our friends, and knowing the right way to talk, how to, speak about not just superficial things, obviously not gossiping, speaking Lashon Hara, speaking about nice issues, having good manners in our speech. So we'll get into some of these things a little more. So the first idea is that, building connections. There's a story here mentioned that, a person's on an airplane and the plane's filling up, and they see no one sitting in the seat next to them. And the plane's starting to close, and then the door closes, and the person's just so excited because they don't have anyone sitting next to them for the whole flight. They can just have their space and watch their movies, read their books, keep to themselves, and they couldn't be happier. Now, we should actually open ourselves up a little bit and get to know people, especially here in Israel, fellow Jews, but really, we should get to know people in general and get to know what a person, how a person lives, what their life is like, be interested, person's life story, what experiences they've gone through in life. And hopefully through good conversation with other people, we can grow ourselves as well and learn from them and share a little bit of our experiences, maybe help them out a little bit too, maybe you, just to give an example, let's say in your work, you happen to, you could use a lawyer or something like that, and you happen to be speaking to a lawyer on an airplane. So there you go. You can ask him all your legal questions and, could be good, could benefit you in that way. But, it won't always work out that way. You could be speaking to someone who's interested in totally different things, working in totally different fields, whatever it may be. But it's still good to get to know people and hear what they're doing and learn about others. And so just a good little tips on etiquette of how speaking to other people is first just getting to know what's your name, what's the name. If you know a person's name, it makes the conversation more personable than just starting to talk. And don't brag, don't boast about yourself, don't go looking for an argument. People are not going to want to talk to you if you're arrogant or if you're looking for an argument. And pay attention. Don't interrupt. Let the person finish speaking. Show that you're interested in what they're saying with eye contact, maybe nodding your head, things like that. And there's a nice pasuk here in Dvarim, translated as, do not harden your heart or close your hand. So closing your hand is more of an obvious one. We know that's like being stingy. Don't, withhold giving money to poor people. That's more obvious. But hardening your heart, that refers to being closed off. Don't be a closed off person, get to know people a little bit, get to know new people. Don't assume that people are bad. Don't be so. Sometimes we are shy, and sometimes it's very uncomfortable to speak to people that we don't know. But sometimes you'll be totally surprised. I remember I was once at a Rosh Hashanah dinner actually, a number of years ago, and I was sitting with a number of Hasidim, and I thought to myself, what could I have in common, with these Hasidim? And they were like speaking Yiddish amongst themselves, but we started eating, and I was talking to some of my friends, and it was at a yeshiva. I was talking to some of my friends next to me, and they were doing, talking to themselves, and then someone broke the ice. I can't remember if I just decided to start speaking to them, or one of them started speaking to me, and we ended up having great conversation, really enjoying the meal, and we forged a relationship. And some of these Hasidim were at my wedding several years later. And I keep in touch, and I went to their weddings. I went to one bar mitzvah and a bris, and I got to know this family well. Had Shabbat meals by them, got to know them very well. And I'm telling you, I was very, very hesitant to even start talking to them. Like, what could we have in common? But you just never know. You never know. You might look at a person, they look like, this does not look like my type of person. He dresses this way, I dress this way, but that is just foolish, because sometimes people can really hit it off and get along well, even if they're quite different. Sometimes even more so if they're quite different, actually. So let's see, make sure the conversations you have with people are of substance. Don't just talk for the sake of talking. If it's a conversation that's not really going anywhere, or is going in a bad direction, like gossiping, or, just bad directions that it's not going to be involved in, or just a waste of time, then, no ways to exit a conversation, no good, exit lines, so that you don't have to be involved. And there's actually, it mentions here a quote by Eleanor Roosevelt, former First Lady in America. Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people. So think about that for a second. That's pretty good. Is that, there are different levels of conversation. If people can talk about ideas, that's the deepest level. And if people just talk about, oh, you hear what happened in the news, this and this and this. And then if you're talking about people, that's the lowest level, because that's going to inevitably lead to, talking about people is usually going to lead to Lashon Hara. So better not to talk about people too much, especially not in a negative way. So we have to make sure that we're growing from the conversation, and that it's the right conversation for us to be in. We have to know the right time to not talk, like in a shul, when people come up to you to shmooze in the middle of davening, that it could be your best friend in the world, and you want so much to talk to them, but if you just wait, daven, silently, don't just do what you're supposed to be doing in the Beit Knesset. Shul finishes, you have a great time with this friend at the Kiddush, and you can talk about everything at Kiddush. Don't waste all your words in the shul when you're not supposed to be talking anyway. So as it says, Melech Shlomo, life and death are in the power of the tongue. Words are very powerful. We talked about this in another chapter. And now, just coming off of Rosh Hashanah, we have the famous tefillah that Hashem should give us koach of our words, so we can get across the points that we want to get across and speak properly. And because if we can speak properly, we can really change the world. We're referring to as so that's the really nice. We sing in Rosh Hashanah. We're really davening with all our hearts. I really feel like during that tefillah, also it's a beautiful tune to it, but everyone really comes together, pouring their heart out. And if you really look at the words of the tefillah, is that we're asking for the koach of words. That our words should have strength and meaning, and we should say the right things, and not speak bad and not get ourselves into trouble with our words. So I hope my words on this parak, on this chapter were helpful, and we will next time move on to 21, Miy'ut, tzchok, minimizing laughter. Okay, thanks a lot.